Hey there, Big Cash crew. Eddy P back here once again. A very, very happy Thursday to all of you there across the globe. So today we're going to look at some pretty cool stuff. We're going to take a look at Digidao, which we covered before, which is a beautiful little altcoin with some pretty interesting potential. We're also going to look at another altcoin called Civic, which is also really interesting and has a great application. And we're going to take a look at a little ICO called the Acorn Collective. So let's get into the show. Excellent. So we'll start the show today with Digidao. Now, as I mentioned in a previous episode there, guys and gals, Digidao has a pretty interesting purpose. It's essentially when you buy or sell gold on the blockchain. Now, gold you can still buy and sell in the Forex market, which is a really easy place to do it. This is really amazing, though, too, because it's completely decentralized. And when you buy it here, you actually own gold, which is really exciting, which can actually be exchanged for actual tangible gold if you go out to Singapore, where it's stored and housed. Anyway, the main reason I'm just bringing it to your attention today, it's had a huge movement. It's up around 40%. Look, oh, that's their website. Yeah, it's hovering around 40% at the time of recording this video for today's move, which is really exciting. You can see here that in the recent past, when was that? Yeah, just a couple days ago, it did bottom out. That's the lowest it's been since it's opened. But yeah, it's climbing back up to the upside now. This one I do like. I think it has pretty good potential. I do want to see more volume in the market. I want to see its market cap go up a long ways because gold obviously has basically trillions of dollars invested in it. I want this to sort of be at least in like the high billions, and then I think there's going to be some good stability. It'll probably be a pretty good one to trade, but for the time being, it's just one to keep an eye on because I think it's got pretty good potential for the future. Fantastic. So the second alt we're going to look at today is a really cool one called Civic. Now, with Civic, this one is really exciting, and basically what it really has to do with is identity protection against identity theft. But I'll explain a bit about what the vision is for the folks who've invented it and sort of what they hope for it to be in the future. So with Civic, sort of picture this as a scenario. I do a fair bit of traveling. So let's say I'm going out to fly somewhere, or I'm going to take a train or a bus or whatever it may be. And then when I get to my destination, perhaps I have to rent a car. And then after that, maybe I have to get a hotel or whatever it is. So every time I do that, there's different applications in my phone or my email, whatever, that are going to be triggered and going to ask for identity and stuff, things of that nature. And that's all fine. But what if there was a centralized or decentralized, being a blockchain, way in which we could store all of our information, and then when we get to a place, let's say an airport, the airline could scan a QR code, which is triggered by our thumb or our fingerprint, and then they let us on the plane. That's a really, really exciting prospect. So there's no passwords. You don't have to carry around all this stuff. It's just a cell phone, which every one of us has now anyway. And you can take it with you wherever you go. And it stores all your digital information, the stuff you use every day. So I like that idea. There's a lot about security they keep talking about, because that's obviously the big worry with any of your personal and digital information. But they've gone to great pains in their data, or I should say their literature, to say that the security is really good. They've even talked about a lifetime insurance policy. So have a look at the white paper. I do think it's pretty cool. The main reason I'm bringing it to your attention today is been a big mover. It's over 40%. So, that really excites me for any coin. This one does have great upside potential. So sort of the main takeaways are all your passwords are stored, which is really exciting, and it's supposed to be stored in what they say is a safe place. Can't guarantee that because, I don't know too much about it now, but it does look like a pretty good place to store your data. You can't lose your usernames or passwords. I don't know how many of you have been in that position where you're on, say, what's it called, the apps on Apple or Google Play, whatever, and you forget your password, your login, and then, it takes 20 minutes to reset. It's a real pain in the ass. So that's not going to be a thing for you should you have this. So those two things are really interesting to me. And this idea of security, that they say they will protect your data. Those 3 points I find really exciting. One rebut I will offer, though, is for Civic to work, the person you're trading with, so let's say it's like an airline or whoever it is you're doing business with, they have to have Civic as well. And that, to me, I don't love, because just consider this for a second. You let's say I'm back home in New York and I want to buy a hot dog, and I've just spent, say, a few weeks in Paris or wherever it is, somewhere in Europe. Well, let's say I have 10,000 euros in my pocket. Well, yay for me, that's a lot of money. But if I have 10,000 euros and I'm on the street in Manhattan and I want to buy a hot dog, well, I'm pretty much screwed, aren't I? Because they're not going to take euros as legal tender for exchange of the hot dog. So it's all good that Civic has this potential and it can do all these things. It needs to grow quite a bit for it to be a really, really viable market solution for a lot of people. Because the whole idea is that if you are traveling, if you are doing a transaction, Civic has to be something that the people on the other end accept as well. Otherwise, this quick way of, scanning your fingerprint, hitting the barcode, and then shooting through, it's not going to work unless they have that platform too. So let's see this grow a little bit. I think it's one to keep an eye on. If it does explode, I think it's going to go up in a hurry, because I think, if a bunch of large businesses start using it, say like a chain of hotels or airlines or whatever, then this could go through the stratosphere. But let's keep an eye on it and see how it grows in the months and years to come. Cool. So let's wrap up the show today with an ICO called Acorn Collective. This one, guys and gals, I found really, really exciting for a whole bunch of reasons. But I'll give you sort of the bullet points on what this one's about, and we'll see if this one explodes in the future. So the basic premise behind this, it's all about crowdfunding. That's what this was designed for, and I think that's a very noble thing. There are folks across the world who want to start a business, or, I've even known people who, there's people, maybe their like relative is sick and they want to raise money for an operation, something of that sort. I've had friends who have financed films from doing crowdfunding. So, I think this is a very, very noble sort of enterprise and a good thing for the whole world. So that's really the long and short of it, is that it's about crowdfunding. Within that, just a couple of bullet points about what sort of makes this a really exciting possible ICO. So number one, it's free, at least according to their details. So they don't charge any transaction fees, and that's a big deal. So consider for a second, if you're running a crowdfunding campaign, let's say you raise a crazy amount of money, like $100,000, right? Well, what if the person who runs it takes 10%? 10% doesn't sound like a lot, but the difference between 90 and 100,000, if you're starting a business, is a considerable amount of money. So this idea that it's free really excites me. So that's the point one. Point two, which I really, really love, that was all over their literature, it's borderless. Okay, now they're already running into some regulatory problems from what I've read with the US and China, but pretty much every crypto in the world is running into problems with the US and China at the moment, so that's just sort of par for the course. But it being borderless is really exciting because, if you're somewhere in, say, New York, and someone else is in, say, Madrid or Tokyo or London or wherever, and they like what you're doing, well, then they can contribute. They can become essentially some sort of kind of like a quasi-investor in what you're doing, and that's really cool because that really connects people together. So I find that very exciting. And the third thing that I really found quite exciting, but I don't know a great deal about this yet because they haven't released as much data as I'd like, is they say there's going to be some sort of affiliate program. Now, this is really cool. I'm not sure how this is going to work. We might have to wait till a bit closer to launch date or thereafter for the real details, but this idea of an affiliate program is really cool because it'll be a way to really encourage a lot of people to jump into the market and really build and expand that platform, which is really what you want to do. Anything to do with crowdfunding, I usually think is a pretty good idea, and this one being on a blockchain, I think is just fantastic. So let's see how it goes. Thanks for tuning in today, guys and gals. I love being here. I hope you really enjoyed the show, at least as much as I enjoyed coming here, because it's so much fun to do this. Please make sure you subscribe and hit those notifications so you know when we're releasing a new video. If there's an ICO or an altcoin or whatever that you want us to review, please comment below. You can hit us up on the Facebook and the Twitter as well. There's all kinds of conversations going on over there. Until next time, Richie will be back tomorrow with part 2 of his sort of market analysis he's been doing. It's really cool. If you missed last night's episode, get on it right now, and then you'll get the next episode tomorrow. I will be back on Sunday for Eddy P's Forex reviews. Until then, stay safe, stay well. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.